There were some gold penners in the area, and they found, after they gathered together, there was a cave of gold. And in this cave of gold, there were several tons of gold just waiting to be plundered. And they loaded the wagons with the gold, and it took some time. They did it with some mining picks, and some of the stuff was done by hand. And they shared the gold together. Every person got a portion of the gold after it was stacked into the wagon. And they went to the nearest town, which was the unknown town, which didn't even have a name. And after that, they decided to drink in the saloon. And in the saloon, everything was going around, and there was a piano playing in the saloon. It was playing a very chirpy melody. And Dorothea Whiting asked the gold panners what they were doing in the area. And the gold panners, they replied that they were in the area because of the gold they heard about and they found gold in the cave. And lucky guy, I'm gonna get everybody drinks. It's me. And Ottila Shoup plays cards with the gold panners, and she pretty much won all the games. And one of the gold planners places a bet saying that he would win the next game. And they played again. And going on to the banker, Bliss Records, he wants gold, and because they didn't have enough gold in the town. And there's been a recent shipment of gold is that it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough gold in the shipment, and they were panicking and seeing what he could do. And the lawyer, Wing Billeters, mentions gold panners, and that the gold panners, they just arrived in the saloon out of nowhere, and Bliss plans to steal the gold from the gold panners. And after that, Wing forges some documents saying that the gold was completely legal, that they didn't steal it, and it was something that people just wanted, and everything was going according to plan. They had all the documents forged. They knew exactly where the gold was, and they wanted to steal it. And back at the sheriff's office, the Sheriff Luz was just sitting at the desk with her feet on the desk, doing nothing. And Luz Alt, the sheriff, says it's boring around there. Nothing really goes on. Nothing at all. And Magnolia says it's a good thing. There's no crime. Nothing to panic about. Just another ordinary day. And a tipper came around and said the banker is going to steal gold. And that's all they said, and they went away. And Luz goes to investigate and see who's going to actually steal the gold, and seeing who the banker was. And Magnolia, the jailer, holds the fort and sees that nobody goes into the sheriff's office or anything like that. And Tipper Maddie Lunn, she's at the settler's cabin. That was the one who told the sheriff about the banker when she overheard him. And Hilmer Colbian, and wanted to know what to do since they heard about the banker. And they just decided together that they would help the Sheriff Luz. And after helping them, Maddie and Hilmer go to town, and they went to the bank, and near the bank they saw there was a window on the bank, and they went right beside the window, and nobody saw them. And what they heard was, they heard Lawyer Wing talk about forging some documents. He said it really loudly, just so everyone could hear. he wasn't really thinking about it. And back at the general store, there were 3 people at the general store. Their names, one of them was the owner Sullivan Words, and he heard the banker stealing some gold. And after he heard that the banker was stealing some gold, the employee Hilbert Kirkham asked what to do. Since they heard this news, what are they going to do about the thief banker? And customer Fletcher Andel says, steal the gold before they do. So they all got together and they thought about, maybe we should steal the gold so that they wouldn't steal the gold. And Sullivan, the owner, agrees. And afterwards, they just put on some mask and they steal the gold before anyone else could steal it. Which makes plenty of sense. And at the livery stable, there were a bunch of horses and 2 people taking care of the horses, which was quite nice. And the caretaker Weaver Clothier hears about Banker and the gold. I don't know how they hear about this stuff, but anyway, Assistant Nellie Krigman says to take the horses away so they wouldn't be able to go anywhere. And so they steal the gold panner and the banker's horses. So the gold panners couldn't go anywhere, neither could the banker. And they have the horses hidden away behind some bushes where no one could see them. No one at all. And they go back to the stable and act like nothing has happened, and they keep grooming the horses and feeding them and acting like everything's completely normal when it's not. And the piano plays in the saloon. A very lively tune. Very nice. The gold panner, and interestingly enough, the gold panner wins the bet against Attila Shoup. And Attila Shoup plays a shell game. Since she's usually good at this stuff, she usually wins. And it turns out that the gold panner guesses and wins, which is very, very rare when you're going against Attila Shoup, especially a shell game. And then, lucky Gype, it's me. I'm gonna take away the empty mugs. Oh. And the gold panners check on the horses. And they find that the horses aren't there anymore.